Located on New York's trendy east side on 3rd Avenue between 63rd and 64th Street, just a gridlock or two away from Bloomingdale's, is Hosteria Fiorella Italian Seafood Grill. The latest and most successful incarnation of a restaurant that's had several ups and downs under the same ownership for 12 years. We took a corner table to test the food. My guests included WNAW radio host Mark Simone, songwriter Sammy Kahn, TV producer Diana Lewis, chef Ishbel Burnet, the jovial redhead Magee Hickey, and a late arriving Bobby Rivers. It's a comfortable place with tables set far enough apart and enough fixtures to keep your eyes occupied if your mealtime companion gets boring. But what about the kitchen? I talked to the chef, Robert Riley.
I was trying to keep the approach as traditional Italian as possible, but bringing in our local American ingredients.
And what about the antipasto bar?
The seasonal ingredients which are freshest, the vegetables, and to encourage customers to have their antipasto as a first course.
Well, the corner table guests ate as if they were about to go on a 3-day fast. Oyster bar selections, mahi-mahi, rigatoni, linguine with clams, and a lobster pizza. That's right, lobster pizza. Served by waiters who could both joke.
They're used for lobster bibs. We get them from dental supply houses, and that way we can give a root canal at the same time we serve lobster.
And describe desserts.
And I have a frozen lemon souffle.
What did my guests think?
Served so handsomely, and it's so fresh tasting.
A lobster pizza, and it had everything, the tail, the claws. I love a pizza that can eat your back.
If I come here again, I would order a pizza because of that very thin crust, and you can't get that at a lot of places.
Eating something with tentacles is not usually a main thing on my chow down list, but the little octopus here was very good.
The antipasto here is very fresh, and each thing has its own distinct taste.
Probably the best pecan pie I've ever had.
Maybe you can't train for the marathon now if you eat too much of this.
Keep spooning it in, Magee. Cut.
3, 2. I'd like some more of that right now.
Thank
that
you
was
for
delicious
feeding me.
food.
Yeah, we had a nice time there. It's a very good spot. It's moderately priced for Midtown. Moderately priced. Not cheap, not expensive. Hosteria Fiorella Italian Seafood Grill. The address, 1081 3rd Avenue in Manhattan. Ask for a corner table.
Yeah, but now everyone can't get a corner table, but okay.
Ask for one.
See what you get.
Right. Recently as last weekend, the way I saw you acting. Well, see if you can identify. Our next corner table restaurant visit was inspired by this scenario. Now, see if you can identify with it. It's a weekend morning. You have a craving that's got to be satisfied. And the craving is you want to go someplace in New York City for brunch. Here's an idea. Head downtown to a deserted area with easy parking 1 block south of Canal to 451 Washington Street. It's on the fringe of Tribeca and the trendy bohemian wonders of Lower Manhattan. There, in an historic building, is Capsouto Freres, picked by the New York News and Zagat's for having one of the best brunches in New York. The place is run by the Capsouto Freres, whose lineage is more complicated than a recipe for flaming baked Alaska. They're Spanish by way of Turkey, Egypt, France, and finally the United States. Overseeing the brothers is 72-year-old Mama Capsouto, who also arranges the flowers and has cultivated the ability to manage the restaurant while walking backwards. We took a corner table. My guests included Mr. Weekend himself, Variety's drama editor Jeremy Gerard, actress Julie Halston, producer Diana Lewis, and Cece Horshaw from Jelly's Last Jam. But what about the kitchen? Good food has helped the place survive fickle restaurant trends for 12 successful years. Longtime chef Charlie Totino is known for his ability to cook and put out fires. Portions are generous, like these whopping pieces of homemade bread in the French toast. We settled in for a good meal: eggs Benedict, seafood omelets, tuna steak, French toast, that giant ravioli. We were satiated, and then desserts. Everyone these days is trying to avoid desserts, but they look so good. Okay, so we gave in and ate the desserts. And what did my corner table guests think of everything?
It's a very homey environment.
Really pretty perfect. It was a perfect omelet.
It was delicious, and I'm stuffed, and it was rich, and I'd come here again.
I particularly like, though, the quince tart. I think is fabulous.
I have never had French toast like this in my life. It's not exactly the way I make it at home. It was huge.
Give it a try. The food tastes great and it looks good.
I always choose a dessert that matches my head.
That's funny. All right, so order food that looks like you at Capsouto Freres, 451 Washington Street. Brunch prices are between $8 and $16. Some of the regular dinner entrees obviously are higher than that.
I'm hungry. That
I
looks
can tell
good.
you're hungry. I hear a little growling.
Produce pitas with trees, so there's no food.
Eat some branches and bark.
That looks very good, though. And you had a great meal?
I had a terrific meal. Thanks for picking it up, Bill. That was great.
Anytime, pal.
Okay, you got it.
I don't know whether or not this book will work at the place I'm about to recommend. Now, where is the corner table going to be this week? Well, we sought out a table at a place that was picked just last month as one of the best new restaurants in America by Esquire magazine. In October, this establishment was awarded 3 stars by Brian Miller of the New York Times. It's Lespinasse at the St. Regis Hotel in Manhattan, and it is a place filled with gastronomic treasures. When you step inside its doors, you enter a sumptuous luxury establishment that is rich in old-world atmosphere. Our corner table guests included Chef Ishbel Burnet, radio personality Mark Simone, artist LeRoy Neiman, Olympic gold medalist Nancy Hogshead, and CNBC's Bob Berkowitz. It's dining with chandeliers and beautiful flower arrangements under the direction of internationally acclaimed chef Gray Coons, who told me some of his spicy secrets.
Into how can I combine a classical kind of cuisine and just adding some Indian, some Asian spices to it to make the whole dish totally different. And that was my basic idea.
Our meal included salad of marinated vegetables and sautéed goose liver, pan-fried salmon and a taro crust with spicy basmati rice with a Calamansi sauce. Of course, we had a few questions. What is Calamansi sauce?
It's a mixture between, Calamansi is a mixture between mandarin and tangerine.
Also, a cassoulet of braised lobster in a kaffir and coriander broth. It's classical French food with mysterious Oriental influences, which prompted Bob Berkowitz to say,
this is better than sex.
You heard it correctly. He said,
this is better than sex.
And then they delivered dessert, a pumpkin souffle with a special treatment. Wow! So what did my corner table guests think?
The food is almost precious, but still, it comes through. You look at it, it's beautiful. But then you taste it, and it's even more. It's a surprise.
This is why I run 6 miles a day.
Just take in all the colors and the look of it. And the smells are amazing. In fact, you don't even have to eat here. Just pull up a chair at somebody's table and you'll have a great time.
And it's very complex. The most unusual flavoring you can find in the city, I think.
Whatever they're doing in the kitchen of Lespinasse, it's working. Well, Lespinasse is at the St. Regis Hotel, but it has its own private entrance at 2 East 55th Street. And like most 3-star establishments, it is expensive. My personal recommendation, if you want to go all the way, is the exquisite $64 sampling menu.
So that's for one person, $64?
That's correct. No,
but
that's the top of the heap. And that's a sampling menu. Basic dinner is in the 30s. This is for the very special occasion in your life when you want to be dining in a rarefied atmosphere and really have food that is recognized as world-class great food. Now, when we do other corner tables, we'll be down in ethnic restaurants and diners and pub
Okay, so I want
food.
you to take me there, though.
We went fishing. We didn't need a boat, but we were looking for a good seafood restaurant. However, the alarming news about 5 months ago about the bacteria counts of fish and the dangers of eating fish from polluted waters means that if you're going to eat seafood, you should choose a restaurant that knows where its fish are coming from. We found a place like that right in the middle of Manhattan. Located in the make that the MetLife building, is Tropica, a busy upscale seafood house. Its active kitchen receives 2 large orders of fish each day, so freshness and quality should be expected. My corner table guests included skating star JoJo Starbuck, author Tama Janowitz, our own Lisa G, Dr. Ruth,
and I'll tell you exactly what I think.
Chef Elaine Sterling and Chef Ishbel Burnet, plus radio's Mark Simone. You'll find an unusual variety of seafood presented in an imaginative, even exotic style. They've got a good wine selection, but our table stuck to iced tea. I asked sous chef Fred Brown about the sources of fish at Tropica.
We buy our fish from 1 or 2 purveyors, which in turn get their fish from U.S. certified inspected fishermen that fish in clean waters, and they send it to us through the purveyors.
So what did my corner table guests think?
This kind of dessert because it's a story. And you know what? The story is sexy. You can think about being with a loved one under this palm tree and touching a little bit, and Bill, who knows what might happen.
It was a bowl, and you could eat the bowl, and it was stuffed with shrimps and different strange vegetables.
Look at this. Unbelievable. Tropical fruit soup. Campbell's, eat your heart out.
I had triggerfish. I've never heard of it before. I've never tasted it before. It was on a bed of angel hair with all kinds of incredible seasoning.
I sat right next to Dr. Ruth, and she said I should have ordered oysters.
The body of the soup came from okra rather than fat or butter, so it felt very light, but this really spicy flavor was wonderful.
Tropica, a seafood oasis over Grand Central Station that serves complimentary parking with your dinner.